Hi everyone, welcome back. We are doing something a little different today. So, first I have to ask if you've been stressed for years, work stress, family stress, poor sleep, hormone shifts, illness. I promise you one thing, your body kept score, and that scorecard shows up in minerals. Stress is not just emotional, y'all. It is biochemical. Every stress response requires nutrients. Every adrenaline surge burns through minerals. Every night of poor sleep shifts electrolyte balance. And over time, that actually leaves a pattern. And this is where HTMA is different. So, HTMA testing is not just a snapshot in time. So, blood work is a moment in time. It shows what is circulating in your blood at that exact hour. But on the other hand, HTMA, which is hair tissue mineral analysis, shows what your body has been doing over the last 3 to 4 months. Hair grows slowly, and as it forms, minerals are deposited into the tissue. That means we can see long term patterns of mineral regulation, not just what happened the morning you got labs drawn. So, instead of asking what's happening today, we ask, how has your body been adapting to stress over time? And that's a completely different question. So, when you encounter stress, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol. To do that, in turn, it uses sodium, potassium, magnesium, zinc. And if stress is short term, you recover. If stress is chronic, on the other hand, the pattern changes. Sodium and potassium are your stress resilience markers. So, sodium and potassium ratios can tell us how active your adrenal response has been. High sodium and potassium can reflect a system that is stuck in fight or flight. So, in turn, you may feel anxious, restless, reactive, quick to burn through energy, hungry often, sensitive to blood sugar swings. And that can be more of a fast oxidizer pattern. But here's what happens long term. If stress continues for months or years, sodium and potassium often drop. Now, in turn, the system is depleted, and then you may feel exhausted but wired, a hard time getting going, poor recovery, low motivation, struggling to lose weight, thyroid symptoms with normal labs, and that's often a slow oxidizer pattern. Now, let's talk fast versus slow oxidizers. Oxidation rate simply describes how fast your body converts food into usable energy. So, for example, a fast oxidizer burns through fuel quickly. You may crave salt or protein, you may can feel anxious or overstimulated, and often you have a stronger stress hormone output. Now, on the other hand, a slow oxidizer in turn conserves energy, struggles to burn fuel efficiently, may gain weight easily, and often has a lower sodium potassium relative to calcium and magnesium. You may feel flat, fatigued, cold, constipated, and many high achieving women start as fast oxidizers in their 30s, running on adrenaline, but by the time they hit their 40s and 50s, they've literally burned through reserves and they shift into slow oxidation. And that's when weight loss becomes difficult. That's when workouts stop working. That's when coffee doesn't fix fatigue anymore. Now, let's talk about the calcium shell. You may have heard the term, may not have heard it. One of the most common stress adaptations I see on HTMA is elevated tissue calcium. Now, this does not mean you have too much calcium in your blood. It means your body is depositing calcium into tissues as a buffering mechanism. We like to call it a calcium shell. It's protective, but it slows everything. High tissue calcium relative to sodium and potassium often correlates with low thyroid effect at the cellular level, slower metabolism, weight loss resistance, low stomach acid, sluggish digestion, emotional flatness. And essentially, it's the body saying, I need to dampen stimulation. But dampening stimulation also dampens metabolic fire. Now, let's talk about copper and chronic stress. Copper regulation is another big one. Stress and estrogen influence copper retention. High or poorly regulated copper can present as anxiety, mood swings, heavy cycles, brain fog, hormone imbalance, and slower thyroid signaling. And copper imbalances often intensify during perimenopause. Imagine that. Everything intensifies. So a woman tends to think it's just hormones, but hormones are mineral dependent, y'all. Minerals regulate thyroid hormone activation, adrenal signaling, insulin sensitivity, neurotransmitter balance, stomach acid production, gut motility. So, this is why stress shows up as weight gain, bloating, fatigue, and mood changes because it essentially leaves a mineral trail. So, if your mineral pattern reflects chronic stress adaptation, your metabolism may actually be conserving. Your thyroid may not be signaling effectively at the cellular level. Your body may prioritize survival over fat loss, which is very, very common. So, you can cut calories, you can increase cardio, you can track macros, but if the mineral pattern is still in a stress adapted state, weight loss will feel like pushing uphill. So, you want to correct the mineral pattern. You want to support sodium and potassium balance. You want to address calcium excess, normalize copper to zinc ratios, and oftentimes afterwards, weight loss becomes a byproduct. And if you feel like you used to handle stress better, you used to lose weight more easily, now you're tired, inflamed, and stuck, it may not be discipline, it may not be willpower, it may not even be calories. It may be the mineral trail left behind years of stress. And the beautiful part, minerals can be rebuilt, patterns can be shifted, and metabolism can be reignited. So if you're curious what your stress pattern looks like over the last 3 to 4 months, not just today, comment minerals or send me a message and I'll tell you whether HTMA might be the right next step for you.